In a small, peaceful town, nestled between rolling hills and winding streams, there lived a young boy named Jake. He was always busy, rushing from one thing to the next, never seeming to have enough time. From the moment he woke up until he went to bed, his days were filled with tasks. Homework, chores, games with friends, and errands for his parents. Time in Jake's world was a thing he could never catch up with. It slipped through his fingers no matter how hard he tried to keep up. Every day felt like a race against the clock. Jake often wished for more hours in the day. If only he could. Stretch time, he thought. Perhaps he could finish everything on his list. But the more he rushed, the more time seemed to slip away. He missed the simple things, the beauty of a quiet morning, the joy of playing without a care in the world. Time was his enemy, always moving faster than he could handle. One afternoon, while walking home from school, Jake noticed something strange, a glowing clock, sitting on a bench by the side of the road. The clock was large, its face shimmering in the sunlight. The hand spun backward, and it seemed to pulse with a soft golden light. Jake approached it cautiously, drawn to its mysterious glow. He'd never seen a clock like it before. As soon as he touched the clock, everything around him seemed to freeze. The sounds of the town, the rustling of leaves, the hum of passing cars, the chatter of people fell silent. Time itself seemed to stop. Jake blinked, disoriented, and looked around. He was no longer standing on the street corner. Instead, he found himself in a peaceful meadow, bathed in warm golden sunlight. The clock in his hand had stopped entirely, its hands frozen in place. Confused, Jake wandered through the meadow, unsure of what had happened. The air was still, and the only sound was the gentle rustling of the grass beneath his feet. After a few moments, he noticed an old woman sitting under a large oak tree. She was dressed in simple, worn clothes, her hair long and silver. Her eyes were wise yet kind, and she looked up at him with a gentle smile. "Hello, young one," the woman said, her voice soft and welcoming. "I see you found the lost hour." "The lost hour?" Jake repeated. "What do you mean?" The woman nodded. "This hour doesn't belong to the normal flow of time. It's given to those who are always rushing, those who feel they don't have enough time. The lost hour is a gift, but it can only be used once. Once it's gone, it cannot return." Jake was still puzzled. "But I don't have time for this. I've got so many things to do. I don't know what to do with an hour I've lost." The woman smiled, her eyes twinkling with understanding. "That's exactly why the lost hour is given to you, to remind you that time is not something to chase. It is something to use wisely. You have so much time, yet you waste it by rushing. The lost hour is a chance for you to understand its true value." Jake didn't fully understand, but he was willing to listen. He decided to spend the hour in the meadow, just to see what would happen. He found a soft patch of grass and sat down, his legs crossed beneath him. He held the clock in his hands, staring at the frozen hands. As he sat there, the world around him seemed to slow down, as if time itself had taken a deep breath. For the first time in ages, Jake wasn't rushing. There were no tasks to complete, no deadlines to meet, no people waiting for him. He closed his eyes and listened to the sounds around him, the soft rustling of leaves, the distant hum of bees, the gentle whisper of the wind. He felt the warmth of the sun on his face, the coolness of the grass beneath him. For a few moments, Jake simply sat, feeling the peace of the meadow. As the hour passed, Jake realized something important. He had been so caught up in the rush of life that he had never really stopped to appreciate the world around him. He had always been in a hurry, always thinking about what was next, always pushing forward. But now, as he sat in the meadow, he understood that time wasn't about rushing. It was about being present, about enjoying each moment as it came. He had missed the simple joys, the beauty of nature, the sound of laughter, the warmth of a hug because he had always been too busy. When the hour was up, the old woman stood and walked over to Jake. She placed a hand on his shoulder, her smile kind but knowing. "Now you understand," she said softly. "The value of time is not in how much you can do, but in how you use what you have. Time is not something to race against. It is something to be savored. Take time to enjoy your life, and you will find that you always have enough." With those words, the woman reached out and took the clock from Jake's hands. He felt a strange pull, and before he could say another word, he found himself back on the street holding the clock in his hands. The world around him was moving again, but something was different. Time was still ticking, but Jake no longer felt the pressure of it. He wasn't in a hurry anymore. Jake looked at the clock one last time. The hands were moving again, but now they seemed to remind him of the lesson he had learned. Time was not something to be rushed through, but something to be appreciated. He smiled, feeling lighter, more at peace than he had in a long time. From that day on, Jake never felt like he was running out of time again. He spent his days more wisely, taking moments to slow down, enjoy the little things, and be present. In the moment, the rush of life no longer overwhelmed him. He learned that time wasn't the enemy, it was a gift, and he would use it wisely, savoring each moment, knowing that he had enough time for what truly mattered.